Hello and welcome to the weekend edition of National Focus. I'm your presenter MERVIN. Thank you for joining us. In the headlines, an agreement has been signed between the government and the World Bank for the financing of the Geothermal development project. Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt SKERRIT says his administration remains committed to LIAT, and Dominica's ambassador to the United States, Dr. Henderson, believes there is no need for electoral reform. Details of the headline stories and others coming up.
Dominica has so much to offer. There's so many tours and there's so many things to do in Dominica. So our role is to market the country, to make persons more aware of the country, to bring people into Dominica through access. And then when they get to Dominica, what we want is that the person has a fantastic experience, and that is where it touches so many of us. And it starts with the immigration officer, the port officer, when you get to the hotel, the receptionist, the person who's doing your room, the bartender, the taxi driver who will take you on a tour, the tour operator, the tour guide who's going to take you all around. You're going to go to a store, you're going to go to the supermarket and buy food, you're going to go to the bank and change money. There are many people who are indirectly involved. So when a hotel is being constructed, you have the construction persons, you have the foremen, you have the truck drivers. The persons who are fixing the roads make a contribution. The persons cleaning the city also make a big contribution because people want to see a clean city. We say that Dominica is beautiful, clean and green, so obviously we have to ensure that that is done. So everybody really plays their part, whether it's in a huge way or in a small way, everybody plays their part to make tourism a success. My name is Robert Tong. I am the Minister for Tourism and Urban Renewal, and tourism is my business.
Welcome back. The government of Dominica and the World Bank have signed an agreement for the financing of the Geothermal development project. The agreement was signed on Friday at the conference room of the Ministry of Finance. Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt SKERRIT says Friday's signing is another major step in government's quest to develop Dominica's geothermal potential.
The approval of the financing allows us to move swiftly towards the construction of the domestic plant. I must express our profound thanks and gratitude to the World Bank for its commitment and for working with us over the last few years on this project. You provided much of the technical support that was required in the early phases of the development of the project, and you continue to do so up to today. The approval of the financing is almost a logical conclusion to the engagement that we have had. We acknowledge too the other donors who have agreed to work with you to finance the geothermal project. I therefore acknowledge the contribution of the government of the United Kingdom, which is providing financial support in the form of a grant to this project. I also acknowledge the Clean Technology Fund and SIDSTAR, both of whom are partnering with us by way of financing.
The World Bank's Regional Director for the Caribbean and Latin America, Tahsin Syed Khan, says this is a major milestone for Dominica and also the World Bank.
This is the first World Bank group-funded geothermal project in the Caribbean since 30 years. So this is a very important milestone event for pursuing the agenda of renewables and the demonstrable commitment of Dominica to its stated goal of becoming climate resilient. So I salute you, Honorable Prime Minister, your team, your Ministry of Energy, your establishment of the company that you have set up, the Dominica Geothermal Development Company, to proceed forward, and we are really hopeful that this investment has the potential to, because this is for domestic purposes, which is absolutely essential, the 7 megawatts that it would generate, but it has the potential over time to for you to further expand geothermal outputs that can potentially be used as an economic diversification tool for export purposes.
In more news, Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt SKERRIT says the DLP government remains focused on the country's development. The Honorable Prime Minister says there are major projects on the cards for the administration, and government will continue its efforts to enhance the living conditions of nationals without the introduction of new taxes.
This Labour Party is about to start earth moving on a new state-of-the-art cargo and cruise berthing facility. It will cost the workers of Dominica not 1 cent, ladies and gentlemen, in upfront costs. We are about to install 3,000 wind and solar-propelled streetlights across the country. You have not heard me ask for a single cent in additional taxes to finance this initiative. We are continuing apace to build new houses for Dominicans. We are fixing roads, and soon 3 brand new concrete mixing and paving trucks will arrive. We are not leaning on taxpayers for anything.
The Prime Minister and the Minister for Finance, Honorable Roosevelt SKERRIT, has committed Dominica's support to LIAT and its sustainability. Prime Minister SKERRIT says the region should support the airline as LIAT remains important to the region.
The issue of the sustainability and the sustenance of LIAT is a very critical one which should occupy the minds of every single citizen in our region. LIAT is too important for us as a region not to recognize the need for each of us, in whatever small way we can, to make a contribution to the sustainability and the sustenance of LIAT. One has to appreciate that if this airline were to go under, the tremendous economic dislocation it would cause to every single country. Every single country. And this is why Dominica is committed in its humble way to make a contribution to LIAT's sustenance and its sustainability. Because we in Dominica appreciate the importance of LIAT to the economy of Dominica.
The Prime Minister noted that despite the challenges faced by LIAT, Dominica will continue to play its part in the sustainability of the airline.
Yes, always will have issues about LIAT's operations and its tardiness and this and that, but these things have to be set aside. This is like the West Indies cricket. We get pissed off with West Indies cricket when they don't do well, but have we asked to disband the West Indies team and not play cricket anymore? No, we challenge them to do better, and this is what I believe that we need to do. So this meeting in Antigua today is a very crucial meeting for air travel, intra-regional air travel, and I will be attending this meeting on behalf of the government and people of Dominica, and I intend to make it very clear this meeting that Dominica, under my leadership, will play its part, will continue to play its part in the sustainability and the sustenance of LIAT. Now, we do not have a largesse of funds, but the little that we have, or the little that we do not have,
The Caribbean region has been encouraged to acknowledge the importance of the airline despite its current challenges.
We do not have a largesse of funds, but the little that we have, or the little that we do not have, we will certainly make a contribution to LIAT sustainability and sustenance. And I believe that countries within the Caribbean, we need to recognize the importance of LIAT. And yes, we'll criticize. Yes, we have issues with LIAT, but let us not set aside the greater good of this company and its services to our region.
Honorable SKERRIT added that the management of LIAT must be considered when discussing the operations of the airline.
I also believe that we need to look critically at LIAT's operations and its management and to determine, where we can cut in terms of expenditure, where we can have greater frugality in its expenditure. So we need to look at things from a holistic standpoint and ensure that everybody needs to play their part in order for LIAT to be sustainable, and for it to continue to fly. But I am concerned that with the possibility of the reduction of number of planes available to LIAT, we will see a serious challenge. I mean, with 10 we have a challenge. Far more to reduce the company to seven aircraft. I mean, all of us will be impacted, all of us, and therefore it requires a concerted, collective, actionable part to get things going.
In other news, Parliament has approved authorization for a credit facility from the International Development Association for an OECS micro, small and medium-sized enterprises guarantee facility project. The proceeds of the credit facility are to facilitate financial intermediation for MSMEs by supporting the establishment of a regional corporation. The Minister for Finance, Honorable Roosevelt SKERRIT, has the approval of Parliament to borrow by means of credit a sum not exceeding $5,400,000.
We are happy to be here in Parliament to ratify the decision of the Minister of Finance in borrowing these monies so that our people can have access to it. And I believe that this is yet another example of the government's commitment to creating opportunities of funding for small and medium-sized enterprises.
And the Prime Minister says this is good news for micro, small and medium enterprises in Dominica.
This is, in fact, Madam Speaker, a good news for small and medium-sized enterprises in Dominica. That they now have an additional source. In addition to the NDFD, in addition to the Small Business Unit, in addition to the Aid Bank, in addition to the Business Trust, they have another opportunity.
Honorable Rosalind Paul is Minister for Commerce, Enterprise and Small Business Development.
A lot of the work that we continue to do at the ministry and as a government is to ensure that small businesses have the technical, financial support that they need to create livelihoods not only for themselves, but to increase employment for others. And we've seen that being done very well by many of our MSMEs.
Chairman of the Police Welfare Association, Jefferson Drago, has applauded government for the amendment to the Police Act, Chapter 1401. Parliament on Monday approved the amendments to the Act, making allowances for secure health and life insurance services for police officers.
And I gave a commitment to the police when I met with them, Madam Speaker. I told them, as long as you agree to the amendment, if I have to go to Parliament in an emergency sitting, I will move to the Parliament to pass legislation to give the Cabinet and the government the authority to enter into an agreement with the new insurance company. And that's what we're doing.
Well, with the passage of this piece of legislation, we want to commend the government for passing this bill entitled the Police Medical Insurance. The police officers are in a better position when it comes to health care. So we are very pleased it's a step in the right direction.
The amendment to the Act was presented to Parliament by Minister for Justice, Immigration and National Security, Honorable Rayburn Blackmore.
Madam Speaker, this short but powerful amendment will have the effect of ensuring collaboration among the Police Welfare Association, the Chief of Police, the Minister responsible for police, the Minister for Finance, to come up with the best possible scheme of insurance for police officers at any one given time. This section is sufficiently flexible to ensure that the government of Dominica can provide full and proper coverage to police officers and their dependents and significant others at all times.
Deputy Prime Minister Honorable Reginald Osry voiced support for the amendment during Monday's sitting of Parliament.
The police, as we all know, play a very important role, Madam Speaker, a very important role in the securing of life and property and security of the state, Madam Speaker. And so I believe that anything that this government can do, or any government can do, to make the working condition of the police and the life of the police much simpler and easier, Madam Speaker, would be welcome. So no matter how much insurance coverage that you give to the police officers, Madam Speaker, they must feel comfortable, they must feel welcome, and they must feel welcome and appreciated, Madam Speaker, for the sacrifices that they make and the sacrifices that their family make to ensure that we can maintain and retain a stable and a comfortable community that we all may be able to live in. So, Madam Speaker, with this brief intervention, I want to support the amendment and to say that we are a friendly government. We are friends of the police, Madam Speaker, and we'll continue to do everything we can within our limited resources to ensure that we can make the lives of our police officers much more comfortable and much safer
all across the country, Madam Speaker.
Dominica's ambassador to the United Nations, His Excellency Dr. Vince Henderson, has dismissed suggestions that there is need for electoral reform in Dominica. Speaking at a recent press conference, the ambassador said while he believes there is a need for further enhancement of the electoral process, there is no need for electoral reform.
I don't think there is need for an electoral reform. There is need for continued enhancement of the electoral process so that we ensure that as we move as a developing country, that we can enhance greater efficiencies and accuracy in the election process. But every report from every observer group have come to one conclusion, that elections in Dominica have been free and fair. You only fix something that is broken, and I don't even would venture into the reform mode for elections. I don't think, because people give you the impression that there is something amiss, as if some cocoa macaque took place, something happened that undermined the electoral process.
Dr. Henderson noted the several evaluations done on the country's electoral process have proven that Dominica continues to provide free and fair elections for its citizens.
The Commonwealth Secretariat most recently looked at it, and in their report that I don't have the liberty to disclose the details of the report, that is to say, who exactly published it on the behalf or who the consultants were, but have come to the conclusion that the election system in Dominica, yes, there are some things that can be done to improve it, but there's nothing amiss with the process. And therefore, I believe if we having an honest conversation on the electoral process, let's talk of enhancing the system, but not giving the impression that it is broken and something was amiss.
The 10th annual staging of the Jazz and Creole Festival will be held this Sunday, May 5th at Fort Shirley at the Cabrits National Park in Portsmouth. The Jazz and Creole Music Festival is a festive fusion of jazz and Creole music, food and culture, and is one of Dominica's major tourist attractions. This year, the festival lineup features numerous Caribbean artists, including Trinidadian pianist Johan Chokari, alongside Dominican artist Mel C. and the Smith brothers.
We have mentioned over and over the notability of the lineup that is being presented at Jazz and Creole 2019. And last week, I challenged those of you who were not familiar with the artists to look them up and understand the caliber of artists who will grace the stage on the 5th. As you already know, we have the Smith brothers, Mel, Johan Chokari, Tony Chasseur, and Boo Hinkson. And they will be joined on stage by the Paybush drummers, CHSU Mojo, who gained some popularity over the whole recent family movement, as well as Mary Pascal, who's here today, and Amanda Lawrence, who will do a flute performance playing contemporary songs on classical instruments, something along the lines of what you saw last year with the Sisters with the Violins. So we look forward to that.
Meanwhile, events assistant at the DFC, Kerwin John Baptist, noted that various fringe events will be held in Portsmouth over the weekend before the main stage event on Sunday.
On that Friday, yes, there will be the Jazz, Soca, and Mimosa at Atlantic View. Also at Fort Young, you will have the Jazz on the Shoreline. We will have Western with Julian Riviere at Tulips. And we will have, at Clara House, we will have the Jazz Hype. On Saturday, May 4th, we will have Jazz on the Beach from 4 p.m. So that's on the Purple Beach, Jazz on the Beach. And then from 8, we will have Jazz in the Streets. So that's in the Lagos Streets in Portsmouth, Lagos, Portsmouth. We will have Jazz in the Streets. And then after, you can take a trip up to Catherine's in Picard for a Jazz Hype.
I've worked in the service industry for 9 years, and I love it because of the people I get to meet every day. And that's one of the reasons I went back to college, to be better able to serve the tourists when they come to our destination and to be able to learn more about Dominica. I love learning more about Dominica because the more I learn, the more I can share. And I just want to share Dominica with everyone. I'm from Munjan, which is in the southeast of Dominica, and I have lived overseas for 24 years. Living overseas has made me appreciate Dominica and all it has to offer, like taking a walk in the forest, going to the botanical garden, or even drinking fresh Sus water. I never thought I could miss green so much. Even as a student, I'm still directly linked to the tourism industry, from something as simple as giving directions to tourists, or even more involved like an internship at a hotel or a cleanup campaign with the HTA. As a tourism student, I have made the decision to take my place in this tourism industry. My name is Lucina Nicholas, and tourism is my business.
Craft is a certain art that creates expression, and one of the things that we do as craft persons, we transfer that expression of self, that expression of value into our products. It's like coming from within, coming from everything that I have and feel, and then it comes out perfect. It's been over 18 years since I've been involved in craft. And it's all through experimenting with different materials, different products. I use a lot of vegetable tanned leather, which is the rawhide, to do my craft. And I get the opportunity to decorate it and to bring out my creation and my spirit within the craft. The work is generally handmade, and that is the unique and authentic thing about craft, is that there's your fingerprint, and a lot of people appreciate the fingerprint of the artist. One of the greatest joys is actually seeing a satisfied customer, especially for a unique piece, and they're like, yes, that is for me, and that is mine. That is really a joy. I am proud to be part and parcel of this big engine that fuels the island and the tourism industry. My name is Vanessa Lisa Winston, and I am happy that tourism is my business.
Welcome back. The Ministry of Tourism through the Discover Dominica Authority has launched Tourism Awareness Month 2019 under the theme Tourism is Everybody's Business. Tourism Awareness Month focuses on the local community, providing education and awareness of the importance of tourism to the local economy. Activities such as the Grand Jazz and Creole Music Festival, carried for May 5th, and Dumfesta will form part of the activities. Minister for Tourism, Honorable Senator Robert Tong, says tourism creates employment and boosts economic activities on the island. The minister says the collaboration between the Ministry of Tourism and stakeholders have brought Dominica's tourism industry to a higher level.
And I dare say that all of you are doing a fantastic job, and we just have to continue working together as a team for the benefit of the country. And I dare say it is working because we are seeing the impact in our numbers. So for 2019, we see for the first quarter, we saw in terms of stay-over arrivals, we have a number of 23,444 arrivals. In 2018, we had 15,508. Clearly, it shows a huge increase, but obviously we know in 2018 we had the direct impact of Hurricane Maria. So we cannot boast or tap ourselves on the back and say we had an 87% increase. So we have to also compare it back with 2017. So in 2017 we had 21,084 stay-over arrivals, and I say stay-over arrivals because stay-over arrivals are the ones that has the greatest impact on the economic activity in the country. So we have a 2019 versus 2017, we have an 11% increase. So we are moving in the right direction.
Honorable Tong says the ministry has been engaged in projects which enhance tourism sites across the island.
The ministry is currently engaged with a number of site enhancement and in the community, cultural heritage tourism, and coastal and marine projects, and is aimed at improving our tourism project. Some of these are the extension of the viewing platform and a double viewing deck at Trafalgar, a similar viewing platform at the Emerald Pool, which is complete. Upgrade at the interpretation centers, new design panels, signage around the city. You would have seen some of them. Completion and the rehabilitation and reopening of the Calnago Barana OT, where we had to redo all of the roofs, including the construction of railings and bridges, clearance of various trails, Sari and Rabin Sirik, construction of washroom at Castle Bruce, construction of new platform and washroom facility at Ecole Soufriere, construction of new restaurant at Cana Heritage Site is ongoing, construction of the completion
of the construction of the Tukari jetty, which is ongoing.
The minister says government is committed to improving air access into Dominica to increase visitor arrivals.
I want to assure all of the stakeholders that we are continuing to work on improving air access into Dominica. I want to say thanks to the ferry operators. They have made it much easier for persons to come to Dominica via sea. You have more options now. But we are working with the Air Access Committee, and I'm pushing them as hard as I can, again, to ensure that we can improve on access. One of them fixing the issue of the access from Barbados in the afternoons. As you know, many times you have to overnight, which increases the cost and also increases the time wasted. So we are definitely working on that, and we're hoping that we can have a resolution to that very soon.
Other activities planned for the month are Hike Fest, a tourism youth congress, POC festival, and a tree planting and beach cleanup exercise. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. Be sure to follow GIS Dominica on Facebook as well as on Twitter at GIS Dominica. From all of us here on the GIS News Production team, I'm Mervin Matthew. Thank you for watching.